remember to hit record. We forgot that part. And so we're going to do that now. Oops, Mandy, we forgot that. So for those of you that are watching the recording later, welcome to the masterclass on sleep. We were just talking about, did my dog give me corona somnia or did I give it to him? You know, he wants to get up and play and have treats in the middle of the night. He goes back to sleep. I don't know whose fault it is. You're here on this webinar because you're like, give me something other than what you used to talk about in your lectures. I tried digital detox. It's not working. My fingers are addicted to the phone screen, or I've tried it. It's not working. I tried the brain dump. It just makes anxiety worse. Meditation, I can't do it right. My brain is on overdrive and I get even more pissed off with my meditation practice, right? Not me. This is what I hear from everybody. And I see in the chat here, getting brain drain or brain strain. Definitely. Brain drain is on the Busy Brain test. This is an actual neuropsychology test measuring stress. It's a validated scale for those that are in the medical field. This is not a test I made up, but we kind of studied it along with the Busy Brain. You score under a 30, it means, yay, you're standing in your brain power. You're a mind maverick. It doesn't mean you don't have stress. It just means you're able to take on your stress, process it, and keep performing, and your sleep is not disturbed. You're not watching this live on Facebook or here live with me on Zoom if you're a mind maverick. You're like, I got this. Like, no, you're here because you either have brain drain, which means between a 30 or a 40, the things that used to energize you are no longer working. Caffeine doesn't give you that brain boost. You may need like a lot more of it. You used to exercise for that adrenaline rush. It's no longer happening. Or like a power nap. And that doesn't help anymore either. That's brain drain. That's a quick fix. 82% of people who took this had a brain strain. Your stress score was over 40. And we're going to put this in here just so you can take it if you haven't had it, drromie.com/test, and get your score. And that's why you're here. So we broke it down even further to say what exactly is going on with your sleep and why is that? Okay, like for those of you that know me, including so many of my fellow evolutionaries that are on the call here, you know I love my slides, and I know people are bored with slides, but type in yes if it's okay for me just to show 4 or 5 quick slides, and then I am going to stop talking and take all of your questions because you are here so I can answer your questions. I got questions from Clubhouse. I got questions from Instagram, from Twitter. We're watching. Yes. Messy dining room table syndrome. Yes. Thank you. We are not alone in this mess. That needs to be, thank you, Corey and Mandy. I think that is now our official syndrome. You went from busy brain to messy dining room table syndrome. And if you stay tuned till the end, I may just pan my camera around so you could see beyond my hair and lip gloss what mess is actually sitting behind me. So let's go to the slides and give me 1 second. Let me pull up what I wanted to talk about and then show it to you. So thank you for letting me pull up my slides. You all know I love my slides, and I have a very talented design director who just makes my thoughts look very pretty. So this is what we want to do today is you're on a masterclass because I really believe that when we identify your busy brain and I invite you to brain shift, we can restore sanity, calm, and sleep. And so what is a busy brain? You keep hearing me say busy brain test. This is a busy brain for those of you that need a reminder, or this is your first time hearing me. I have been researching this for over 3 years now, and it just got accelerated in the last 18 months. It's bringing my worlds of neurology, integrative medicine, and mindfulness together and working with people that are just like you and me. We are success-driven, unapologetic about it, professionals. And baby, don't tell me to slow down. I'm not going to tell you to slow down, or we're going to run over you in our designer shoes and our wearable tech. Am I right? But here's the one thing that happens to success-driven professionals. Our brain chemistry, when we are fully brain shifted and on, Wow, we get more done in one workday than the average American worker does in 2 weeks. You know who you are, right? You love your to-do lists. And in fact, there is this dopamine high of checking off your to-do list. It's so juicy that when you get something done, you just kind of add it to your to-do list, don't you? And check it off. And you're like, ooh, I'm a king, I'm a queen. Yes. But then all of a sudden, something happened. And you're like, Romie, is my brain cells on fire? Like I have these racing thoughts that I can't shut down before bedtime. Like all through the day, somebody says one negative thing to me, and I am stressing, obsessing, and worrying. And why does this happen? You've heard me talk about the stress response in your brain, but there's something additional that gets triggered. We're going to go a little deep into the geek girl science here. You can ask me any question about it. But what happens when your airport traffic control tower in your brain is constantly in busy brain mode? It completely resets in a really bad way your HPA axis, your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This is your biological clock in your brain that governs everything. Now, I know when you hear biological clock or circadian rhythm, you're like, and I'm a woman talking about it, what's the first thing that comes up in your mind? Ovaries. How many people said ovaries? Put it in the chat if ovaries was the first thing that came to you when I said biological clock. I loathe that that's happened, but it's not about your ovaries. Everybody, whether you're gender assigned male or female at birth, has a circadian rhythm, and every function of your body is governed by that circadian rhythm. Your hunger, your immune system, your sleep wake cycle. And guess what happened in the last 18 months? We had no boundaries. You're no longer, for most of us, getting up, going to work, going to school. You just have messy dining room table syndrome, school, work, all of the above, dog interrupting you when you least did need it, right? Cats on your screen. And here we are. And your circadian rhythm is completely off. And so this is why you're dealing with poor nutrition, you can't sleep, emotional distress, and it's all about the sleep. So I want to break down coronasomnia in 3 different patterns. And you're going to hear 3 different types, and then I'm going to go into them in detail, and then I'm going to answer all of your questions because I know we're tired of screens. It is now 12 after the hour. I promise to stop talking in 10 minutes and take all your Q&A because I know you're busy, including everything from Facebook or Bookface, as my aunties call it. Okay. Are you pattern number 1? You have difficulty falling asleep at night because your thoughts are racing in your mind. You like had a glass of wine, maybe some fancy bourbon or whiskey. You took some overpriced supplement that some influencer on Instagram peddled to you, and you can't shut off that, right? You're type 1. Put in type 1 if that's you. Type 2 is you're having a Raja Romie moment, right? Something, because it's not your fault, wakes you up in the middle of the night, and now you can't go back to sleep again, right? And it's like somewhere between 2 and 4:30 in the morning, and you're wide awake. So this is pattern number 2. Type pattern number 2 in there if this is you. And you're so awake, you're like, let me get up and make coffee. Let me just answer some emails. Oh my God, please don't do that because you hit reply all because you're still kind of tired. And then you wake up like 17 other coworkers in the middle of the night because ding, you just email them. And now you've like shown everybody you've got coronasomnia pattern number 2. You're emailing in the middle of the night with all these grammatical errors, or you just decided to do some laundry before the kids get up. That's pattern number 2. Pattern number 3. You slept. You've got that bougie Aura ring, your iWatch, your Fitbit, your Garmin, whatever is tracking your sleep. You got more than 8 hours and you wake up absolutely exhausted. It's like somebody took a rolling pin. Do you remember those old school baking rolling pins and just rolled it over your body and beat you? You're like, my muscles are aching. I'm in a brain fog. It's as if I am moving through molasses in a swimming pool. Romie, nothing is working. So let's take a moment and I'm going to break down why each of them happen, what to do, and then answer all of your questions. So I'm going to take a moment in here and check out all the chat because I want to know For those of you that turned up, who told me that your pattern number 1, your pattern number 2, my dear sister Mamta, who is the founder of Sadhana. We will talk about that at the end of this. I so love that you're here, my doctor's sister. Okay, Carla, ovaries. Somebody heard ovaries. Okay, I'm not the only one. Yes. Okay. I am seeing a lot of type 1s and 2s. So we've got type 1s and 2s, maybe a couple of mix. So I think I'm kind of seeing everything. 2:30 every dang time. Kate, I'm wondering if my dog Raja gave you coronasomnia too. I mean, he literally is, and maybe a smidge of number 3. So let's go through all these patterns. Please dump your questions here. If you are watching live on Facebook, I can't see the Q&A. My amazing director of design, Mandy, is on the call. She is watching Bookface, as my aunties call it, and we will get to you. But priority is for those of you that are on the Global Brain Shift crew who joined us live on Zoom. Number 1, difficulty falling asleep. I want to explain what happened to your biological clock. It ain't your ovaries. It is your HPA, your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis that governs everything. Normally, if your circadian rhythm is working fine, you should wake up with the sunrise. So whatever time sunrises is here in Florida, it's between about 6 and 6:30 in the morning. The light starts coming, and without an alarm clock, without your phone, you should wake up naturally and you should be energized, and your cortisol and dopamine and adrenaline levels should be highest in the morning without even a cup of coffee in a perfect world. Honey, you're here, I'm here, because that ain't none of us right now, 18 months into a pandemic. I got you, brothers and sisters. What's actually happening is your circadian rhythm is upside down, and that your cortisol level that should be fueling you in the morning is completely jacked up late at night. You're trying to rest and your brain is like, hello, let's start thinking, obsessing, and stressing again. And you're like, what do I do, Romie? Okay. So first of all, if you have never met me, which chances are, if you're on this live, you and I have met, I've talked to your company, I've met you on social media, you know the Dr. Romie protocol. We always start with what 3 things, Corey? Digital detox, brain dump, meditation. You're here because you're like, that ain't working, Romie. Okay. So gentle reminder, please try the digital detox. We're in a pandemic. We have Zoom fatigue. We have a little PTSD. Anytime we get a notification from Clubhouse, we log on, we look on our emails, you're scrolling and trolling. I got you. Binge watching Netflix. Stop watching Bridgerton. Shonda Rhimes ain't bringing the Duke back. I got you. Breathe. And here's what I need you to do. I want you to take 5-HTP, and I'm holding up my favorite brand, and Mandy is going to drop a link of where to order some, but you can find them on Amazon. I am not an ambassador for this company. I don't have any affiliate fees. It's just everybody asks me for reliable, affordable supplements. This is one of my favorite brands, Pure Encapsulations. You can trust what's in the bottle. 5-HTP. Let's talk why 5-HTP, 5-hydroxytryptophan. It is natural. It breaks down in the body to serotonin, which will help drop your cortisol levels and help you relax and fall asleep and reset your circadian rhythm. And guess what? Serotonin breaks down into melatonin as well. If melatonin hasn't been working with you, ask me why, and we'll go over it. Most of you probably already know. Here's the other one that I really want you to focus on that you need is magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate is, magnesium is a mineral that's responsible for about 300 different neurochemical reactions in your brain and in the rest of your body. The glycinate is magnesium combined with glycine. Glycine is also very relaxing and calming. Some of you have heard about magnesium threonate. That is getting really common, and it's a tongue twister, and that also is very effective in increasing magnesium levels in your brain cells. But for the busy brain, I love magnesium glycinate. So those are the 2 that will, within taking them the first or second night, make you drowsy, help you fall asleep and stay asleep. Can we just talk about some obvious things here? And I'm going to stop sharing my slides. If you are in pattern number 1, I can't shut down the 27 conversations going on in my brain before bedtime. Please don't make me meditate. There's a crazy voice in my head. I can't shut it off. Could we talk about some obvious things? Please don't have caffeine late at night. Not a time to watch CSI, crime drama, the evening news, reading the New York Times, anything that's going to get your cortisol levels raised. Let's be mindful and not do that. Okay. But you're here because of self-care and the bath didn't work. So let's break it down and get you to sleep. Magnesium glycinate and 5-HTP. We will put the links in the YouTube after all of this. So that is brain pattern number 1. Help, I can't shut off my racing thoughts at night. Why does it happen? HPA axis is off, cortisol levels are high, all our screen time, our lack of boundaries have elevated our stress hormone levels and dropped our serotonin and melatonin levels. Okay. So that's pattern number 1. Pattern number 2, right? There was about half of you that said you had that too. So I want to go to that one. You fell asleep. Okay. Probably, right? You know, whether it was the alcohol, whether it was sheer exhaustion, whether it's supplements, but no matter what you're doing, you're like, Romie, I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to bed. I think for my physician colleagues that are on live or watching, or nurses or anybody that is second or third shift worker in hospitality, some of it is because you're switching your days and nights working at night, and we need to get it back. But for most people, this is because your HPA axis or your biological clock is saying, hey, somewhere between 2:30 to 4:30 in the morning, wake up, and it's time to start your day. And you're really tired because your body and your brain wants rest, but something in there is fighting. And what's happening? So the cortisol levels peaking in the middle of the night. I'm going to have some real talk here. This is beyond just a few supplements. If you are pattern number 2, I don't want you to be alarmed, but this is going to require a little extra work. I want you to go to your primary care doctor. If you join our brain shift course, I'm going to give you the labs and personally interpret everything for you. But in the meantime, before we launch brain shift to the public after Labor Day, these are the things that commonly cause it. Is alcohol will upregulate your GABA receptors. And when the alcohol metabolizes out of your brain, you're like on high alert, time to wake up. The brain wants more alcohol or more sedative. So that's one thing. Even 1 glass of wine, 4 ounces, hard liquor, beer, it doesn't matter. Here are the other things that can happen is, depending on your nutrition profile or your stress levels and what your pancreas is doing, it doesn't matter if you're on a low carb diet, you don't have diabetes or whatever it is, your blood sugar is dropping at night in the middle of the night and it's waking you up, a low blood sugar. It's kind of a mechanism to protect you. We need to double check that too, right? Fasting insulin levels, blood sugar, it's all in the labs. Here is one of the most common causes from men and women. I want you to hear this: thyroid disease. Why do I want you to hear this? Because if you're part of our brain shift program, you know thyroid disease happens in men and women. Majority traditional physicians will miss your thyroid disease because they listen to your history and they're like, you're good. I don't know what webinar you were listening to. No. Okay. To placate you, I'm just going to check a TSH. Oh, it's normal. I told you it was fine. The thing is though, there are like 8 different labs we check beyond your TSH to check your thyroid. And because your HPA axis is off, your brain control of your thyroid is a little off, and it can exacerbate an underlying autoimmune thyroid condition, which is very common in women, but we're seeing it in men because I say 50% of my tribe globally is men, and we're seeing it in both. So I really want you to hear this. To summarize this, if you're waking up in the middle of the night and you can't go back to sleep, alcohol, hormone imbalances, thyroid. For men, also low testosterone. For women, perimenopause, your blood sugar dropping. If you join the Brain Shift at Work program, we have labs. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Bless me, pardon me, I'm so sorry, excuse me, not sick. If you do that, then, we'll check all of it for you and do that. And we're going to put in ability for you to get on a wait list. We are launching it for the first time to the public. We've ran multiple companies through Brain Shift since last fall, but we're getting so many people from the public going, I want to do the course. I want to get labs. I want to see what's going on with my busy brain. We'll put you on the wait list, but I just want to have you get a head start. What are some things you can do? Again, the 5-HTP breaks down serotonin, melatonin, will keep you sleeping through the night. This is where I lose friends, but I'm going to ask you for 7 to 10 days, Could you decrease the amount of alcohol and stop it altogether? And maybe intermittent fasting to regulate your blood sugars, but don't go from a high carb diet straight to intermittent fasting, or you might be like uncomfortable. So that's pattern number 2 is, and the last thing is your doctor should be screening you for obstructive sleep apnea, that like something may be going on in your anatomy or in your brain that's causing you to wake up from low oxygen, low blood sugar, low oxygen, hormone in men and women, and alcohol. 5-HTP, avoid alcohol, get your labs checked, get on the wait list for the brain shift at work. We will give you the lab slip and I will interpret it if you go through the program with us. We're going to launch that after Labor Day. If you're on this call, you're going to be given first dibs because we're just taking a very small, intimate community through it publicly. So you get my undivided attention and my team's undivided attention. But in the meantime, I want you all sleeping, because by far, these are all the questions we get from every company when we're doing lectures, as well as our global newsletter. Somebody always emails me back and says, Dr. Romie, I can't sleep, or on social media or on Clubhouse. You get it. Okay. Pattern number 3, there were a few of you that were here. It doesn't matter if you're telling me, Romie, I have a hard time falling asleep, or I fall asleep and I stay asleep, but I'm waking up feeling exhausted. Most people in this category, I look at your Fitbit or a Garmin or a Ring, you're sleeping 8, 9, 10 hours and you're still waking up so tired. What's happening here? Remember I said your cortisol and your adrenaline should be up and going with the sunshine in the morning, and instead it's really low. And you take coffee and it gives you a kind of boost, and like 10 minutes later, you're like molasses walking in a swimming pool again. You're in a brain fog. You're like, Romie, am I getting early dementia? No, you're not. What's happening is with the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, HPA axis, you might have burned out your adrenal gland, and that your adrenal gland that should be pushing out cortisol in the morning is like, girl, I got nothing more to give you. Stop. I can't give you enough. Could be alcohol. Again, you're hearing a theme, aren't you? Low vitamin B levels. And this is B as in boy, and every vitamin B, not just B12, thiamine, vitamin B6, B9, they're all important, especially if you're vegetarian or vegan. It is a big risk, but when you have a busy brain, they drop. By far, the companies and the teams that we have taken through this who fit this pattern level, I cannot tell you how many people, despite all the press of how vitamin D3 can help your immune system, which is so important in the last 18 months, you're taking like a little smidgen in your multivitamin. You think you're getting enough, and it's not, because you got a busy brain, you got inflammation, you don't have a high enough level. We change this one thing and it changes people's lives. Like if there's one thing, but also anemia and low thyroid, all of these things are. I want you to know this is labs, labs, labs. Take a screenshot of this, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching later on YouTube and the recording. I need you to get your vitamin B levels, D3 levels, screen for all types of anemia, and once again, your thyroid. And this needs to be fixed. Again, if you are interested, you want to get on the wait list, do the brain shift protocol. I give you my lab slip as if you were coming to see me for an integrative functional medicine consult. We send it to you wherever you are in the world for your primary care doctor. You come back with your labs, you put it in the system, and you get an interpretation from me. We are going to open this up to the public after Labor Day, after the first weekend of September in the United States. But for now, I am here every Wednesday to answer all your questions. So as promised, I am going to stop talking. I talked about magnesium glycinate. If you have regular digestion, if you're a little constipated, citrate, 5-HTP. If you're weighing 100, under 170 pounds, start with 50, but most people need to go up to about 100. You're going to have vivid dreams. Avoid with using it with antidepressants. I'm going to stop talking. Those are my slides. I want to know what questions you have right now. I also want you to know, if you're like, Romie, you've just hit a nerve. I got all this going on. I need you to look at my labs. Just get on the wait list. I will work with you one-on-one. We're going to take an intimate group through the entire brain shift of what we've been doing for corporate teams around the world. You'll be going through it with our technology platform and me live starting in September, and my entire team. We love going through brain shift together with teams, but let me answer all your questions right now. So I'm going to do one. I'm pattern 2. Okay, Chuck, I fall asleep easily when I go to bed, but then when you wake up after 4, 5, 6 hours, you wake up and your mind is processing information and solving problems. Welcome to Busy Brain. You're exactly in the right place, the brain shift crew. That's all of us. It feels productive for an hour or so, and then you go back to sleep and thoughts. Okay, so here's the one thing that I'm hearing is, if you're waking up in the middle of the night and that's your quiet time, it's almost like you're in a somewhat meditative state because it's the only quiet time you have in a day, and you're really busy and you're like, I get to go through these productive thoughts and it feels really good. I feel like one of our Evo mindful guides at Evolution Hospitality, they use this term and I'm obsessed with it, a brainwashing. It's like a power washing your brain. We call it a brainwashing, and it feels like you're just clearing all the gunk out from your brain. If that's working for you and you're waking up energized and okay, then go for it. But for most people, if you're waking up and your brain is spinning for an hour at night, it's not good. So for you, what I'm actually going to say is, I want you to schedule 20 to 30 minutes of contemplation time during your day. And you need to tell your team, your company, whoever, this is my brain power time. I want you to make a brain dump of every project you're working on. If there's personal issues, put them on side. And I want you to shut down your emails, your Slack channels, your phone, and have 30 minutes at the beginning or the end of every of your workday to go through it there. I'd like you. It's basically your busy brain, Chuck, telling you, I need processing quiet time when I have boundaries. And during the day, you're not giving your brain and your life boundaries. So that's it. Step number 2, if you're waking up in the middle of the night and processing things, have a little bedside lamp and pen and paper and write them down. If you write it out and in the middle of the night, it won't take you an hour to process it. You're basically telling the memory loop going from intermediate to long-term, intermediate to short-term memory in your brain. Hey, I don't need to process this right now. It can wait. Put it on paper and you won't be up for an hour. Will you try those 2 things and message me on LinkedIn? I know we're connected, or come back next Wednesday. We're going to be here every Wednesday for the next 4 or 5 weeks answering your questions. Let me know if that works. You don't need a supplement if you're telling me waking up in the middle of the night is good for you. So let's try that. Let's see. Next one, can you list the 5-HTP and glycinate doses again? Yes, Vicki. 5-HTP, 5-hydroxytryptophan is, for most people, start at 100 milligrams at night. If someone weighs less than 170 pounds, sometimes I go gingerly and do 50 milligrams. Remember, do not combine it with alcohol. It will knock you flat to the ground. And with alcohol, you'll have vivid dreams, even more so. If you are on an SSRI antidepressant medication like Prozac, Paxil, please talk to your primary care doctor. You're getting serotonin on top of serotonin, and they need to watch you. A doctor needs to watch you before you combine those 2. So please don't do it without a doctor. So that's 5-HTP. If you are here with us in Zoom, my team member Mandy, who's on, is going to put a link where you can even order the supplements if that's easier for you. Magnesium glycinate starts with about a 100 to 120 milligram dose at night. And I picked glycinate over citrate because it won't upset your stomach. If you're a little constipated, you can try the citrate, but magnesium glycinate is magnesium that gets uptaken by your brain, as well as glycine that can help calm it down. So it is. I became pattern 2 going into menopause, and I've never reset. I hear that a lot from women. You're not alone. Even prescription sleeping medications don't keep you asleep. It sounds like the hormone category. Is there a supplement for that? So Monica, twofold. I'm going to start answering you now. 2, if you're interested, I'm going to invite you to go through our brain shift in September, where we can get a fresh set of labs and we can tweak it for you, because there isn't one supplement that's going to govern all of that for you. It really depends where your hormone levels are and where you are. If you're in premenopause, perimenopause, or done with menopause, and we need to look at your hormone profile. But I really want to explain something. A lot of women who are going through this going, oh, she said hormones, it's my estrogen, progesterone. No, it could actually be your thyroid that's not getting addressed, that's waking you up in the middle of the night. And your thyroid is stressed. So naturally, it could force you into perimenopause or menopause symptoms even earlier, and adrenal fatigue. So to give you an idea, I need to look at your labs because I want to know, do I need to add something like pregnenolone or DHEA during the day that'll give you a hormone boost wherever you are on your hormone productive cycle, right? Or do I need to refer you to one of my integrative functional medicine colleagues who deals with hormones and menopause? I have several great colleagues that even see clients virtually. And do we need to talk to you about potentially bioidentical hormones or other supplements that can help with that, right? So it's a little bit more complicated when you're in menopause. I really need to look at a lot of labs first: thyroid, your DHEA levels, pregnenolone levels, estrogen, progesterone. So you're a perfect candidate to go through the brain shift in September. But in the meantime, yes, there is a way to reset that. Sleep is critical. Here are 3 steps I'm going to give you to do is you're going to benefit, if you haven't done it already, from curing a leaky gut, leaky brain. So a little bit of a gut cleanse. You can, I'm not sure how we're connected. You asked that question, Monica, but what I'm happy for you to do is either email me directly, send me a message on Instagram. I can send you one of our leaky gut protocols to just start cleaning up the gut. And if there's still estrogen predominance, maybe start to calm that down until we can get you into the brain shift program and get you started and get your labs checked. So then we know where to go from there. But ooh, when I hear that from women who are perimenopause, menopause, whatever, the first thing I'm like, ooh, check the thyroid as well. So it's not just your estrogen, progesterone. So for women in hormones, perimenopause, menopause, it is a lot more than just one supplement. It sounds overwhelming. I don't want you to give up. There's a solution. We just need to dig a little further, and that's all. I got you, sisters. I got you. Thank you. I actually recommend quiet time for your coaching clients because I needed to hear that too. Don't we all need that? I can't tell you how many times my team members are like, hey, Dr. Romie, like you say this to all your clients. We need you to do some of that too. So yeah, definitely. Can I repeat? I was frozen. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I froze for 30 seconds. Mandy, can you tell me what I froze on? This is what happens when you're with the messing dining room table. I'm so sorry I froze. So I'm going to ask Mandy what we'll do that during the ends of Chuck's recommendations for supplements. Wow. Okay. So I was froze for a while. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm so glad Mandy is here. So we were talking about the supplements of what to take for menopause. We need to check your thyroid levels. We need to check DHEA levels and pregnenolone labs, as well as to know where you are in menopause first. And then we can figure out if a supplement is right for you, if you need bioidentical hormones or a combination of all of the above. I'm so sorry I froze and we missed that point. So let's see. On a side note, you have a high fasting glucose, but your glucose during the day is fine, and except for 100. If you have a high fasting glucose, but you're okay during the day, that's a sign of a busy brain, that your HPA axis is off. So that's inflammation. And there's a few other labs we check, like your hemoglobin A1C and your fasting insulin levels, so that I can actually see what is your brain doing to the rest of the hormones in your body. And we adjust your nutrition that way. By the way, comfort foods are still allowed on brain shift for those of you that have been through it. But yes, I want to definitely highlight that. How will DHEA change hormones, thyroids, and sleep? Ooh, that is a great question. Dihydroepiandrosterone is a precursor to testosterone. Both men and women need it. The levels decrease as we age, and they decrease when we are in a heightened stress state or a busy brain and we have inflammation. DHEA is important for brain, for focus, for energy. for men and women for a certain level of testosterone. Now, if you're a man watching this recording on Facebook, don't be like, let me order DHEA and get my testosterone up. No, no, please talk to your doctor. If you need Viagra or Cialis or something else, go that route. This is for your brain power. So we need to check before you go get a DHEA sample. We need to check what your levels are as a man or a woman before you prescribe it. The women's doses are a lot less than the men. So please don't just get on Amazon, be like, Dr. Romie said DHEA. I need your labs first. That's why we want you to get on the brain shift wait list. We're going to put that up again in the chat, is get on the wait list. You'll be the first people to be invited to join. We will check your labs and give you personalized recommendations during our 6-week public program. However, get it checked. If you're a woman, you're going to get testosterone, your hormones and thyroid levels checked, estrogen, progesterone, FSH, LH. If you're a man, you'll get testosterone free and total checked, as well as your thyroid. And then we go from there. DHEA gives you energy during the day. It also, with pregnenolone, it helps to fuel cortisol. So you're not getting it stolen from testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and not getting disturbed sleep. So pregnenolone and DHEA are very important, but we'll get into those modules inside Brain Shift when we talk about inflammatory markers and hormones. So that is definitely it. Would I recommend a snack before bedtime if your blood sugar drops at night? Believe it or not, the latest brain research says two things. One of the things we talk about how to biohack your food and fuel, we actually talk about adding more healthy fats during the day and uncoupling sugars and caffeine during the day. That's how we do it in the Brain Shift protocol, the micro habits. So that's the first place we start, healthy fats at every meal. And then if needed, is avoiding a heavy meal at night that is especially high glycemic, so a lot of alcohol, a lot of sugars. If needed, a low glycemic snack right before bedtime, which could be something like sweet potatoes or quinoa or a few bites of oats or popcorn, if we actually have measured hypoglycemia in the middle of the night. But normally there are other things to do in the Brain Shift protocol. F is for food and fuel, and we actually talk about what to do during the day that helps people be super energized during the day, sleep at night, and then actually lose weight while eating comfort food. That's the best part. It sounds absolutely insane, but it works. So yes. So we really, if you are interested, please join the VIP waitlist. You are not bound to buy anything. We've just had so much interest. We're going to launch it once the kids go back to school after Labor Day, a 6-week program where you get your labs. I help you in the group and one-on-one. And we'll do that. Just get on the list because we're only going to invite a certain amount of people. We will go through that with you, but those are it. Let's see, I'm scrolling all the questions here on Zoom, and let's see if I missed any. TSH is off. Okay, if your TSH is off, we need to make sure the rest of your thyroid is getting checked, including autoimmune thyroid disease, because you may need more than just T, as in Tom 4, you may need T3 as well. So I think that is it. I think I got all the questions. Thank you all, because I had no intention of going 45 minutes. I know your time is valuable. It is 7:45 almost on the East Coast, 4:45 on the West Coast. It is late at night in Europe for those of you that joined. I don't take your time for granted. So I really just thank you so much for being here and answering all the questions. If I missed any, we will be back next Wednesday. If you registered, we're going to send you the link again and come back with more questions. If you're watching the recording on YouTube later on or Facebook, we'll put the link in for you to sign up and come back next Wednesday. I have one more question that came up. Hi, Monica, you are welcome. Get those labs checked. I look forward to seeing you in September. You're welcome, Corey, my fellow evolutionaries. For those of you that are wondering what I keep saying with evolution, if you already don't know, I have an amazing honor, not only as a physician, but to serve as Chief Wellness Officer for Evolution Hospitality. So we've got several of our leaders from Evolution Hospitality here, and I love you all. Just such an honor to do that. I think I missed one question, and I'm just going to take that last one. What about lion's mane for brain fog and focus? Can you combine that with DHA? You can tell me to shut up and join BrainShift. I just signed up. Kate, I look forward to welcoming you to BrainShift, but I'm here. I promise to answer all your questions. So there isn't any studies about the benefits of combining DHEA and lion's mane. If you're going to take DHEA, please make sure that a clinician checked your DHEA levels and other labs as a woman and prescribe that to you, because we don't want a woman to be in androgen hormone excess taking DHEA if you don't need it, right? There are side effects to taking DHEA as a man or a woman if you don't need it. So number one. Number two, lion's mane, absolutely. The medicinal mushrooms, a lot of great clinical studies about focusing during the day for that. That is definitely one in clinical studies when we go through BrainShift and improving your energy and focus during the day. This one, though, was about sleep. Because what we found is when you have one of these three sleep patterns, your inflammatory markers during the night are not calming down, and you're going to have difficulty focusing during the day. You can take all the caffeine or supplements or Ritalin, that's stimulants that people get during the day. We need to restore sleep at night. So that's why we started with these three patterns of sleep. Now, if you are watching the recording later and you have questions, shoot me a message on Instagram or leave a message in Facebook. We can't wait to welcome the public into BrainShift at work, where we'll go through your labs, we'll break everything down. You do a BrainShift every week, you feel better, you lose the pandemic pounds while eating comfort food, and the best part, you're sleeping again. And we cure the coronasomnia. And I can't promise we're going to cure the messy dining room table syndrome, but we're certainly going to try. I'll definitely do that. Let's see. One last thing, how do I find a good functional medicine doctor? Find an MD or a DO that is trained in functional medicine, ifm.org. If you send me a private message, either via email or Instagram, Facebook, wherever we're connected from, I will send you a link. Or if you tell me what city you're in, I will look for a colleague that I would trust with my own health there. And happy to help. You all are amazing. It has been so great to join. Thank you for those of you that can do that. What would help in the interim? Getting to sleep. We need to sleep. Let's cure the coronasomnia. That is what's going to do this. So I would like to take a moment to thank my head of design direction, Mandy, who's been in the background manning Facebook, Bookface, as well as Zoom and the recording. We are just so thankful for all of you. For those of you that I didn't even properly introduce myself, but I think most of you know me. I'm Dr. Romie. I bring my worlds of neurology, integrative medicine, and mindfulness together to help you find a cure for your busy brain. We are so excited in September to welcome the public to BrainShift. But in the meantime, I am here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, answering your questions about sleep. So today, to recap, we went over the 3 different patterns. I can't fall asleep at night because I have a busy brain. My thoughts are racing in my head, what to do. Problem number 2, I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm wide awake and can't fall asleep again. Or problem number 3, I'm exhausted despite sleeping a full night. So we covered all 3 of them, what to do for now, things you can work on, including maybe possibly going to see your primary care doctor in the meantime. And when it comes September, I can't wait to welcome you. Get on the VIP wait list. We can't wait to work with you in the fall on BrainShift. But in the meantime, you know where to find me. Hit reply to those emails that go. I read every single one of them when you email me from all over the world or on social media. Yay! And thank you all. Oh, what about the messy desk? Oh, show and tell. Oh my God. Okay, I cannot believe we're doing this, but okay, let me unplug my computer. Let's start with the chair. Let's start with Raja, who's down there, who is sound asleep, right? I cannot believe I'm doing this live. You are seeing, look at this mess. Okay. Did you get, and that was like maybe like half of the view, 180-degree view of the 360. So welcome to my messy dining room table syndrome. If you have one too, take a snapshot and send it to me on Facebook or Instagram so that I know I'm not the only one sitting here with like a dining room that's non-existent. So we so love all of you. I'm going to hang up now. Thank you all for the time. Thank you for the kind words, Corey, Mamta. I'm going to end with a, as they say on Clubhouse, a low or a high key plug. Tiffany, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. I have the honor of serving on the board of Sedana Foundation. We are very blessed in the United States and in many countries in Europe where you're watching to be open, and some of us vaccinated if you chose to be, and go out. But in India, we know that the toll from COVID-19 has been severe, as well as in Indonesia and Pakistan. And if you go to the sedanafoundation.org, Unite for India, Mamta, the founder, Indian brain trauma surgeon, who's the founder, is here. We have been working tirelessly to get medical supplies on the ground to vulnerable communities like women and the trans community and children in India. So they have been the organization my team has been supporting this last quarter. And Mamta, thank you for being here. So uniteforindia.org. And I just put that there if you want more information. And thank you all. So many blessings to you all. Let's cure our busy brain. I'm going to hold the intention you sleep well. If questions happen, send me a message or we will see you live next week. Good night.